Hi guys, my name's Bex and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be discussing the books that I read in the month of March. I'm gonna be real sly here today, guys. I'm giving you my March wrap up, but I'm also giving you a book that I finished on the 1st of April. I'm sorry about that. I just don't think I'm gonna read much this month to be able to do a wrap up at the end of the month. So I'm gonna shove one book into this one and wrap it up as quickly as possible. What is really exciting about March is that I read so many amazing books, and I cannot wait to share with you what I have read. So all up, I read 4 novels, 2 graphic novels, and I listened to an audiobook and followed it along with my main book because I'm just not up to scratch with that audiobook business just yet. Let's get into the books. The first book I read in March was Scythe by Neil Shusterman, and this book, I finished it right at the beginning of March. And it was freaking amazing. I went into Scythe like really loving the premise, which is about basically reapers and the world's perfection. They've cured disease, they've cured everything, they've cured death, if you will. But to keep the population under control, scythes have to kill people. So doing nature's job for them. That being said, Citra and Rowan, who don't want to be scythes, however they've been chosen to become a scythe's apprentice. So this book follows them and their journey. I guess the ideology that even in a perfect world there's still things wrong, if you know what I mean. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It was intriguing, it was interesting, it was thought-provoking, and it was an absolute pleasure to read. I really enjoyed the way Neil wrote. I really enjoyed there was little excerpts from previous scythes in here, which was really cool. The whole premise behind this book was pretty epic. So I definitely recommend Scythe. However, I had such a good reading month, so every book I'm going to be showing you today was pretty freaking good. So let's move on. The next book I read in the month of March was Maximum Ride Volume 5, the manga by James Patterson. The more I read this manga, the less I care. It's probably not good, is it? I really enjoy the characters in this book. I really like Max, I really like Flock. However, the mangas are just really short. I feel like it just needs more in each volume to even get me remotely interested. This story is just not getting better for me, and it's really disappointing, I guess, because so many people love Maximum Ride and so many people have read the books, and I haven't read the books, I'm only reading the mangas. You know, the artwork is beautiful, but it's just not engaging enough for me anymore, I don't think. So I ended up giving Maximum Ride Volume 5 a 3 out of 5 stars, which is alright. The plot's just really lacking for me at this stage in the mangas, but I will continue on and see how I go with the other 4 or so. The next book I read was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, and this book I gave a 5 out of 5 stars because Nimona is freaking brilliant. What was really exciting about Nimona, it was a full graphic novel. It was an actual story, and you know, we didn't have volume 1, volume 2 and freaking cut off here, and you know, it was a full novel. I got a full reading experience out of, and it was just everything I could have wanted. Although it was a graphic novel, and I feel like my camera's tilted. Am I sideways, guys? I'm sorry. I just got really invested in the story. It was entertaining, creative, thoughtful, funny. The artwork was absolutely beautiful. You can really tell it's Noelle's work too, because it's sort of the same design style as Lumberjanes, which she also does art for, so that's amazing. The story follows Nimona, who is a shapeshifter, and Blackheart, who is a villain, but they're kind of not what they seem. And Nimona kind of forces herself into this story with Blackheart, and it's just freaking adorable. I just loved this story. The next book was The Martian by Andy Weir, and I didn't think a book could get funnier than the movie. It freaking did, which was awesome. What I really loved about The Martian was that I've actually seen the movie, and I loved the movie, and I've watched the movie multiple times before picking up this novel. And in every way, this was as good as, if not better than the movie. So if you have not heard of The Martian, I don't know why. Matt Damon's in it. It's about a guy who's accidentally left on Mars, and he has to go through his time there and attempt to survive until another spaceship can get back to pick him up or attempt to rescue him. He goes through some serious shit, guys. Like, I'm not fucking with you. A lot of this stuff is hectic, and it also has swearing in there. If you don't like that, don't read this. Probably don't watch me because I swear quite a bit, sorry. The Martian was suspenseful and realistic and heartbreaking, and it was funny. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars because I couldn't have asked for more. It was amazing. This is almost one that I would say best book adaptation. The next book I read was another 5-star read, and that was The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas, and I cannot explain to you how amazing this book was. The Hate U Give is based off the Black Lives Matter movement that has been going across the world and across America, and it is such a good book and such a needed book at this time in the world. The Hate U Give is real, it is raw, it is emotional, it's heart-wrenching, it's funny, and there are so many references in there that you just like tip your hat to. You're just like, yes, like thank you for writing this book, because it's not only necessary, but it's enjoyable to read and it's powerful, I think, to everyone who reads it. So I definitely recommend you pick it up if you haven't already and dive into the story, because it follows Star, who witnesses her best friend who is unarmed being killed by a police officer. And this follows Star as her world basically goes to shit and how she gets through it, and she is a great protagonist to follow. I definitely think everyone needs to read it. Now onto my audiobook for the month. I read Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find by Newt Scamander by J.K. Rowling, and I followed along with the book, which I picked up this month as well. The reason I picked up the audiobook is because Eddie Redmayne, who plays Newt Scamander, is the narrator behind the book, and that was fantastic, and I enjoyed it, and I think it really added something special to have Newt Scamander in the movies reading Newt Scamander in the book. After the movie, I really wanted to know a lot more about the magical beasts, and I didn't have the original Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I guess what's weird is that I live for that shit. Like, I wanted to read every animal in it. I did read every animal in it, and I loved them. Like, my favorite, obviously, Niffler, the Thunderbird, the Mooncalf. All of them we saw in visual form in the movie, but I just wanted to know more. And I loved the little additions in here, and I loved the descriptions, and I'd recommend this. And I'd actually recommend this one more in audio format, so you can hear Eddie Redmayne read this book. And yeah, really freaking good. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm sure most people wouldn't give it a 5 out of 5 stars because it's like a student book, it's a study book. But I loved it. I loved everything about it, and I think I loved it more because I could hear it, right, and I could follow along and just, you know, have a chill time. The last book I read in the month of March, technically I read this in the month of April, so sorry. And that is Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider. Now, why am I reading this one, you ask? That is because my friend Ellie from Fanatical Fantasy on Bookstagram, I'll leave links to her channel down below, raves about this book, and as I said to her, look, freaking I'm gonna trust ya, I'm gonna read it, and I was not disappointed. So Poison Study follows Yelena Zoltana, who is a criminal. She's locked up, and as it turns out, the next person who is to be executed gets a ultimatum, if you will, either die and be hung or become the poison tester for the new commander, or basically the king. And this is her story, and it's absolutely amazing. I did not think I'd like this one this much. I honestly did. There is nothing wrong with this book. It is engrossing, intriguing. It's amazing from start to finish. I was captivated. I freaking loved it. There was a love interest in here, yes, but it wasn't the main focus. The plot really took focus, and that was amazing. And they gave like a little tease of a romance, which was awesome. I live for that shit. But this story alone was perfection. There's a lot of things going in here, and there's a lot of plot to go through, which is awesome. And you end up loving the characters. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one as well. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, which no one's really shocked with, I'm sure, because I just raved. So those are the books that I read in the month of March, and I'm really proud of myself. Like, I got through 7 books in a month and 1 day, which is really good considering last month I got through 0. Yay for me! That is all from me today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and have not already. Tell me down below in the comments what books you read in the month of March, what you gave 5 stars for, if you gave any 5 stars. See you next time. Bye!